Right then, the first video of its type. This is more of an analytical looking back at what's going to happen, what I think's going to happen sort of video, if that makes sense. So this is the form of the relegation sides in the Championship, which I think is the most interesting thing going on right now, other than maybe the Champions League positions in the Prem. But we've got teams from Plymouth, and I'm going to go up to. I think we're going to go up to QPR because I don't think Preston will go down. So we've got 15th to 24th, so we've got about 9 teams here that we need to look at. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to talk about the form. I'm going to talk about what they've got next. Do I think they'll stay up? So, obviously, to begin with, we've got Plymouth Argyle. They're on 33 points at the minute, and their form is we've got a 3-2 loss to Derby, so that's a big win for Derby County. They needed that one really. That's probably going to instill the confidence to get Derby through, but that's for Derby's section. We've got a 2-1 win to Plymouth. That's good for them. It's a good 3 points. You've got Sheffield Wednesday beating them 3-0. They're safe for Sheffield Wednesday. So, and then you've got Hull beating them 2-0. Another team lower down that they should have been getting a point against. And then I'm just going to talk about 2 more, which is Cardiff draw 1-1 and Luton draw 1-1. Again, point, it's not too bad, but these are the teams that are down there with you. You want to be trying to give them nothing and you gain on them, but that's not really worked out for them. And then also another game that's just a bit further on is the 5-1 win against Millwall, but I won't go into that because it's not as recent, but they should have tried to keep that form up really. So overall, a few points, but mainly against the sides that are low down with them, and sometimes they're sharing them as well. There's a lot of work to be done, and if we look at the next fixtures, you've got, well, there's 8 left, is there? There's 8 at this point in the season. You've got Watford, Norwich, Swansea, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, Coventry, Preston. So I see. Oh, and there's also Leeds at the end. I forgot about that. Leeds. So I see Plymouth getting a maximum of 9 points, which I don't think will be enough for them to stay up. I think Plymouth are confirmed relegated. Obviously not yet, but looking at the fixtures and how they're performing, the season's done for them. They're over. If you played well against Watford, I suppose you could try and pick something up. Swansea, Norwich as well at the minute. Norwich are a bit out of form. Sheffield United, I don't expect them to beat them there. Middlesbrough at home as well, quite a tough one. Coventry, tough. Preston, they're a good side, and then you've got Leeds as well. So Plymouth are going down. And if I also just look at the goals conceded from them, it's 77. It's the most in the league, I believe. Yeah, it's the most in the league. It's not great. They've scored 40 though, which isn't too bad. They're higher than a few teams. Most notable one for me is Preston North End, who are actually just above the cut-off point for where I've done this video. So they've scored more than them by 1. Anyways, next team, Luton Town. Decent form. We've got a 0-0 to Middlesbrough. You've got a win against Cardiff. 4-0 loss against Burnley. Fair enough, you're down there, so that's going to happen at some point. But the win against Portsmouth, that's big as well. And a loss to Watford. So losing against teams that I don't mind that for them. It's okay. A good point against Middlesbrough as well. They've conceded 60. By no means are they where they should be really. Everyone had them probably predicted a lot higher than they are, but that's fine. They've got Hull next, which is by all means they could get 3 points there if they try. Hull at home as well. Hull perform worse at home than they do away. Then they've got Leeds. So they're at home for that. So with the Leeds downfall, you never know. It could come, and Luton could capitalise. They've got Stoke away. Again, winnable. Blackburn, at the minute it's winnable. Whether they ever turn around and fall, no. They've got Derby, they've got Bristol City, Coventry, I don't see them winning those 2. And they've got West Brom. So I think Luton have better odds than Plymouth do. but they don't really score too many goals on average. I'm looking here, the goals per match 0.89, goals conceded 1.58. Hull do have better performance stats than that, and I'm sure most of the other teams do. But if I'm looking here, from what I think, they've got potential 3, 4, 7, 10, 13. We'll call it 14 points that I think they could pick up if they play to the best of their ability. So I'm going to say that Luton have a chance. Don't call them out yet. They're not done. But I will pick 3 to go down. We've already got 1. Luton, I'm not sure about yet. And we've got Derby County next. They're on 3 wins in a row. Those wins come from Plymouth Argyle, Coventry City, big win that. Blackburn Rovers, and then a loss to Middlesbrough, and a loss to Millwall. A loss to Millwall, but I think now John Eustace has found his way with the team. 40 goals scored, 51 conceded. It's the least conceded down here, I believe, other than Stoke and Hull. So they're in a decent position, I'd say. I think that without even looking at the fixtures and just going off of what they've got going on now at the minute, they've finally got the manager clicking with the team. It's starting to work. I think Derby are fine, but we will just have a look at their fixtures as well. They got Preston. It's winnable, really. John Eustace, I think he's performed well against them this season already. They got Swansea. They got Swansea. That's winnable. Burnley, probably look to lose that one. Portsmouth, it's winnable. Luton, it's winnable. West Brom, I reckon they could take a point there. Hull, it's winnable. Stoke, it's winnable. So, let me just 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 16, 19. They've got 19 potential points here that are quite easy for them to pick up. The only really tough game in there is Burnley and West Brom, really. But I can see them getting a point at West Brom. I don't know how the Derby Luton game will go. I'm quite interested for that one. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff though, so I can't watch that one. But if I could, I'd definitely try to. I don't think Derby have any TV selections, by the way. That's quite mean. But yeah, I think Derby stay up comfortably now with John Eustace. That's pretty much done and dusted, I'd say. Then we've got Cardiff City. I like to say they're playing in a false position. They should be higher than they are. If we go from recently, they've won this weekend against Millwall. Oh, no, sorry, against Cardiff. No, they are Cardiff. Blackburn, sorry. It was giving me about 12 different games on the same button. So they beat Blackburn, lost to Luton. That could be costly. They've lost to Sunderland, fair enough. Lost to Burnley, fair enough. And beat Hull. So, not too bad. If I look at the fixtures. We'll go off that then. Fixtures. They score 1.11 goals per match and they concede 1.63, so that's not too bad. We've got Sheffield Wednesday next. I probably look to lose that one, to be fair. QPR, they didn't do too bad. I mean, they finally broke the losing streak against Leeds. We'll talk about them later though. I think QPR are the last team I'm touching on. We've got Preston. If they go for it, Stoke should be able to. Sheffield United probably not. Oxford United they could do. West Brom, yeah, because of a point. Norwich, if Norwich is still bad at the end of the season, that's 3 points. So they've got a potential. I'm gonna say 3, 4, 7, 10, 11. Potential 14 points there. Cardiff should stay up. Now then, one team that I'm not too sure on, I think they could go down, is Stoke City here. They are on 39 points. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned the points for anyone else. So Luton 35, Derby 38, Cardiff 39, Stoke 39. Recent loss to Millwall. It was a close game as well, so that's not too bad. They've got the win against Blackburn, that's huge. They've got a loss to Coventry, a draw to Watford, and a loss to Middlesbrough. So, not too bad, really. I'm interested to see what their rates are for scoring. They score 0.97, concede 1.34. They've got QPR next. I think QPR probably look to win that one. Preston probably look to win that one. Luton, I'm not too sure. I'll say it's potential win. Cardiff, it's a potential win. Sheffield Wednesday, probably not. Leeds, probably not. Sheffield United, probably not. Derby, maybe. I'm going to say 1 point for Derby. None for Sheffield, none for Leeds, none for other Sheffield. So Wednesday and United. So that's 1 potential point out of 4. Go to 4. We'll go to 7. I think they can pick up 7 points, really. So I think I'm going to say Stoke down. I know, I don't know if that's a correct call to make, but I think Stoke down. Then we've got Hull, draw. 1-1 to West Brom, decent point. Beat Oxford, decent 3. Drew to Bristol City, that's a very good point, I'd say, at the minute. Beat Plymouth Argyle. And lost to Cardiff, sorry. So, it's not the worst form I've seen. They've got 41 points, so they're probably going to be safe regardless, I'd say. I think that they keep picking up points here. Let's just have a look at the odds. They score 1.03, concede 1.24. And they got Luton next. The way I'm looking at it, Hull win that probably. I'm contradicting myself saying like, oh, they're playing each other. They both could win. But that's because you genuinely just don't know. I think that against the lower teams, well, they're all, when they've got the top 5, 6, they're probably going to lose. But when you get lower down to like players at the, well, not players, but teams at their own level, it could go either way. So I'm going with, if they're at their best, they'll win. But that goes both ways. So both teams could win, but they could also draw. You never know. So I'm trying to give them the best possible odds, basically. So I'm going to say that they beat Luton. I'm going to say they draw to Sheffield Wednesday. So that gives them 4. We've got Watford, probably lose. Coventry, probably lose. Swansea, that's a potential 3, so we'll go up to 7. Preston, I could see a draw there. We'll go 8. Derby, I'm going to go with the lose, to be honest. And then Portsmouth, so what's that? 3, 4, 7, 8, 11. 11 potential points. I think Hull are safe. I'm just going to go for the next ones, which are Oxford. Another team that are in a bit of danger, but they did get a win against Watford this weekend. Lost to Hull, drawn to Norwich, good point. Lost to Coventry, 2-3 though, so not bad. And West Brom beat them 2-0, so not terrible, really. I've seen worse. Score 1.03 per game, concede 1.45, not too bad. We've got Middlesbrough next. I'm going to say look to lose that. Sheffield United next, looks to lose that one as well. QPR, it's winnable, but I think I can see a draw there, so 1 point in the next 3 so far, not looking too good. Sheffield Wednesday, I'd look for a point there, it's 2. Leeds, probably look to lose that one. Cardiff, we could have 3, that's up to 5. Sunderland, probably look to lose that. Swansea, so that's 8 points that they can pick up then. In my personal opinion, the best they can do is 8. I should take them to 50, so they're probably safe. 50 potential, well, we could end on 50. It's not too bad, to be fair. I've seen worse. I've got a right itch on my back. That'll do. Let's cut that out, maybe. No, it won't. It'll stay in. Thank you, guys. So, Oxford probably safe. Next, we're moving on to Portsmouth. They have lost the past 2 games, Preston and Portsmouth. No, they are Portsmouth, Preston. Preston and Plymouth, there we go. Lots of P's. They got a win against Leeds, obviously. It was a huge 3 points. Lost to Luton. Beat QPR. So, overall, I'd say the form's not terrible. It's not great either. They beat Leeds and then they've lost to some easy sides. So, Blackburn, I'm going to say 3 points potentially there. Before we do that though, they score 1.21 and concede 1.61, which isn't bad. So we'll say 3 points. Millwall, I can see that being 3 points, so they're on 6. Coventry, probably not. Derby, could take a point maybe. So we'll go to 7. Norwich, if they stay bad, that's are we on 7 or 6? We're on 7. So that goes up to 10. Watford, probably look to lose that one. Sheffield Wednesday, I'd say lose that one. And then Hull, a potential 3 points, so that takes them to 13. They are also on the same amount of points as Oxford, so definitely safe then. And then we've got Swansea, who lost to Burnley, lost to Watford, beat Middlesbrough, drawn to Preston, and beat Blackburn. So if you have a look then at them, and then we've got one more team left, which is QPR. Leeds, look to lose that one, I'd say, at Ellen Road. Derby, I look for a point there. 1. Plymouth, they could get 3. Sunderland, probably none. Hull, they can beat Hull when they're at home. That's 7 then. And then we've got QPR, I'd say put it up to 10 then. Millwall, we'll go to 11. And then we'll have Oxford, they can get 3, so that's 14, definitely safe then. Swansea. Both Welsh teams survive. Last but not least, QPR on terrible form, but just picked up a draw to Leeds recently. Lost to Middlesbrough, West Brom, Sheffield United, Portsmouth. They score 1.16 and concede 1.32, which isn't bad. They've got Stoke next, that's potential 3 points. Cardiff, potential 3 again. That's 6. But we've got to remember that they are coming out of bad form. So I'm actually going to go back to the Cardiff one, change that to 1. So we're going to say they've got 4 potential. Oxford. Yeah, go on, kind of 7 then. Bristol, I'd look for nothing. Preston, I'd look for nothing. Swansea, we'll go from 7 to 10. Burnley, I look for nothing. And Sunderland, I look for nothing. So they got a potential 10 points, but they are at the top of the pile, 45. So that'd take them to 55, so I'd say they're safe. And then Preston are on 47, so I'd say that they're definitely safe. So I think the relegated sides will be Plymouth, Stoke, and who? Ooh, this is a tough one. It really is. Who do I think is going to go down with Plymouth and Stoke? Plymouth, Stoke and Luton, I think. Because Luton have a massive disadvantage. They're on 35, Derby on 38, Cardiff, Stoke 39, Hull 41, 42, 42, 44, 45. So I'm going to say Stoke, Luton and Plymouth do, but it's going to come down to the final day for Luton, probably against Hull or something, and they're just going to Hull are just going to edge it. So that's what I'm going with from what I'm thinking, but I've probably forgotten. I have forgotten most of the things I've said, so I might look stupid, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. I might do a who's gonna get into the Champions League spots. Apparently there's gonna be 5, so we know who one is. It's definitely Liverpool. But yeah, I might do that. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you didn't, which I'll know by the view count probably, I'll probably look to do less. But anyways, that's about it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.